Some news about Battlefield 2042 has come out, and it is a little bit more important than you think because it has caused quite a rift within the Battlefield community. Now, it's not a huge rift, it's a teeny tiny one, but I do want to talk about it because the subject is probably a little bit more important than you think. Now remember, if you enjoyed today's video, to leave the video a nice, thick, and juicy like, and of course if you want more content like this, be sure to hit that big red sexy subscribe button right underneath the video. Also gotta shout out my channel members. You guys help make these videos possible. If you want to join and get access to the exclusive perks that they get, be sure to check out the link in the description or hit the blue join button. Anyway, let's begin. So what is this rift in the community? What is causing it? Well, it really has to do with Battlefield 2042's movement system. A post on what I'm pretty sure is Reddit, forgive me if I'm not getting that right, came out, and a lot of people are taking it and running off and saying, oh, Battlefield 2042 is going to have the exact same movement as Battlefield 5, or it's going to be similar at least. Really, all this post says is that the same people that worked on BF5's movement system are working on Battlefield 2042's movement system, and that they couldn't say anything more specific about that at this time. So I want to be very clear about that. It's just the same people. It doesn't mean that the movement is going to be exactly the same or even necessarily similar. It's just the same people. So got that out of the way. Now, why is this an issue? Well, there's two different communities who kind of have their own opinions on said things in a kind of much larger way. There are some that are sprinkled in between, kind of on either side, and I want to kind of explain each argument. So there's the pro advanced movement community, people who enjoy the movement in BF5 and see it as one of the few positives of that game. You see, BF5 added a lot and built on a lot of the more advanced things that was sort of introduced in Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 introduced the slide mechanic to Battlefield. It also introduced vaulting higher walls, so you could slide to get into cover, and you could also vault these I don't know how to, like, you couldn't vault over a house or anything, but if there was like a fence or something like that, basically any cover that could cover you while standing up but isn't a building, you could vault over, I guess is the best way to say that. This was of course brought into Battlefield 5. There were some changes. The slide was a little bit faster and a little bit longer in Battlefield 5. Vaulting was pretty much the same. You could also go prone in various directions in Battlefield 5, which meant that if you wanted to get into cover in any direction, you know, if it wasn't directly in front of you or behind you, you could go prone in that direction, and it made it easier to avoid getting shot. Now, it was abused by MMGers who would try to lay backwards with an MMG to look like a dead body and then shoot you from a dark corner, because I don't know why. I really don't know why. Realism. But anyway, I think Battlefield 5 had some pretty good movement. It added a lot to the traversal of these large maps. You could get around areas that normally you couldn't, and it created a lot of interesting gameplay scenarios. There was also one improvement that people had been asking for a long time, that being of course crouch sprinting, which is honestly probably most people's favorite improvement to the movement. That rhymed a little bit. But crouch sprinting was great because you could stay in cover if something was destroyed, and you couldn't really stand up because you didn't want to get shot, but you still wanted to move around pretty quickly. Crouch sprinting was very nice. There was a lot of uses for it. A lot of people use it all the time. It's a very useful little mechanic, and I hope that one does come back, and I'm sure most people won't have an issue with that. That being said, again, it comes back to being able to traverse the map in various ways and create more interesting gameplay scenarios. You aren't restricted to coming out of cover in any one particular direction. If you are behind, say, a high wall, sure, you can walk out around the corner or you can vault it. There are risks and rewards to going either way, but it depends on what you want to do in that specific scenario and up to you of how you want to approach that situation. And again, I think that offers a lot in terms of gameplay. There's even, you know, if you jumped across a gap and you landed on a ledge, you could catch the ledge and climb up. That helped a lot of players and probably saved a lot of people from dying to fall damage. Whereas on the other side, you have the pro BF4 movement crowd who enjoy, I guess you could say, the realism of BF4, where you are pretty limited in what you can do. You don't have to worry about things like slide spam. You don't have to worry about someone vaulting from a direction that you weren't expecting them to. It's pretty direct and simplistic in how the movement is. Now, to me, this prevents a lot of that interesting traversal and prevents a lot of those interesting gameplay scenarios, because you can't fall in a certain direction to get behind cover. You can't vault over a wall normally, so that choice in gameplay of whether I want to vault over this wall and worry about, you know, my gun won't be up but I might catch them off guard, versus going around and my gun's already up but they're gonna know where I'm at, that decision isn't even there. You only have really one option, either go or don't go. That's your choice. So to me, that would be a massive regression if Battlefield 2042 decided to go with a BF4 style movement system. it would feel dated right off the bat. Day one, it would feel like this is an old game. And I don't think that would appeal to a lot of people. And I also got to say, for the pro BF4 movement guys, you can't complain about slide spam and I can't shoot the guy slide spamming, while crouch spam is in BF4 all the time. Any decent player who wants to get the most out of the game will just crouch spam the whole game. It's the same kind of idea, except at least with slide spam, the hitbox isn't totally broken. In BF4, you crouch spam to break the hitbox and just be impossible to hit. So I don't know what you're complaining about. I know you'd probably complain about the crouch spam too, and that is an issue in the game, but I would rather have to deal with someone being harder to hit, but their hitbox is intact, versus someone who is literally breaking the game to take advantage of it. Because you know if they take away the slide, crouch spam is coming back. It'll be the same problem. So I don't know what all that's about, but regardless, just aim better. I don't know what to say there. Now, as for Battlefield 2042 and what this means, we don't know if sliding is coming back. We have been able to tell from the gameplay trailer that there is definitely an emphasis on movement and traversal in the game. Is it like Battlefield 5? Not entirely. We haven't seen any sliding in the trailer, but we have seen that tactical sprint is coming. If you've played games like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, they have a tactical sprint where you can sacrifice having your gun up and ready to fire for a little bit of a burst of speed to get into cover quicker. That could be what replaces the slide. I wouldn't hate that. I think that's a decent thing. I used the tactical sprint a lot when I would hop onto Modern Warfare every now and again. And then we also have things like zip lines and grappling hooks for the assault specialist. So there is that level of traversal, which I think a lot of people will like. It'll help with moving around these much larger maps that we've never had in the franchise. These maps that are so huge we can't even comprehend them until we start playing them. And then of course there's the wingsuit. That one specialist has that wingsuit and you just fly around and glide around, replaces the parachute. Again, emphasis on traversal and movement. So maybe they did take the approach where they wanted to have that advanced traversal, but they didn't want to make it something annoying and Call of Duty feeling. Maybe there is that, and that might be a happy medium that all players can look at and be happy with, but we'll have to wait and see more. The gameplay trailer didn't reveal a ton in terms of what actual gameplay is going to be like. It just showed off some new highlights and improvements for this game. I mean, we didn't even really see any of the gunplay in the game, so we definitely didn't see a lot of the depth to the match-by-match movement systems that we're going to be using a majority of the time. We just got to see some of the more highlighted things, again, like the tactical sprint, like the wingsuit, like the zip lines. So we really just got to wait and see more for 2042. Personally, I think the more advanced traversal, no matter how it's implemented, needs to stay. I don't think having Battlefield 4's movement is going to be very good. Again, it's going to feel like an ancient game on day one if that were to be the case. I don't think it is. But again, I can see some of the issues with Battlefield 5's movement system. I can see why people would complain about that. I don't agree with your complaints, but I can see why. At the end of the day, we just got to wait and see more. Like I've probably said 18 times by now, so we're gonna do that. So yeah, that's all I got today. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave it a nice thick and juicy like, and I will see you guys in the next video.